time to shoot another minimalism video. Okay, let's get on with it. What's up, you guys? My name is Katie, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. Today I'm gonna do another minimalism video. This one is actually a request, and it's from Pamela Jones, and she asks, could you do a video on decluttering your mind, tips or strategies to help with our thoughts? And I absolutely love this question, and I love it so much that I'm gonna do a video on it today. So basically today I have 5 ways to help with decluttering your mind. So with that being said, I'm gonna get right into it. Okay, tip number 1, write things down. So you can use, there's so many different apps for this, or you can go old school with a pen and paper, whatever works for you, but just literally start making lists of certain things you need to do. Journaling is also a huge one. So they're almost 2 separate things, because I think journaling is a really great way if you want to go a little bit deeper and really start getting your thoughts on paper, or if you're using kind of something more of an app or something digitally, but whatever it is. I personally actually really still like writing things out on paper. I think the physical act of writing things out is really satisfying sometimes too, and that can be super cathartic. But even just day-to-day lists, I use an app called Workflowy, which is super basic, but it works really, really well. It's just like a way to make bulleted lists, and you can do kind of nested lists and lists within lists, and it's really, really clean, really, really simple to use, but it's super effective. I do my to-do lists on here. I have basically lists for everything, but it just helps it helps for you to stay on track. And this is actually what I use even when I've got notes for filming my videos. I use it for pretty much everything, and it syncs with all of your stuff, so I can use it on my phone, I can use it on my iPad, whatever, on my desktop. I use them in all places, and I access them all the time, and it just helps to, you're feeling overwhelmed, you got a lot in your mind, and you just can dump it all off on there, and then you can physically see, like, okay, here's all the stuff I need to buy, here's all the stuff I need to do, and you can do all kinds of different lists. And I love the idea of that. I think it really, really, really helps to clear your head and just give your mind a break. Our brains are already doing, tons of things, and if you can take the burden of trying to remember all of this stuff, or what do I have to do, or sometimes we just get so overwhelmed with so much stuff that we need to do. We're so busy these days, and I think that when you can just physically type it out, write it out, whatever, and see, okay, here's what I gotta do. Here's, all of the things that I have to do. Basically, it's a list, right? So just getting that off of your mind and onto paper or onto a tablet or in an app can really, really help to simplify what's going on up here. So with that being said, tip number 2 is identify the essential and eliminate the non-essential. So with having a list, these kind of go hand in hand, because a list will help you to prioritize things. Another reason why I love that app is you can kind of drag and drop things, so you can move things around in priority. This isn't a productivity video, but it's kind of in some ways the same thing, because really the idea of having clearing out mental clutter is to be more productive, right? That's one of the byproducts of it. So just identifying what is the most essential thing also helps you to identify what the non-essential things are, which then helps you to prioritize, right? And that's another way of really just getting really clear about what you need to do in that very moment, and not overwhelming yourself with something you got to do next week or that you might be doing next month. Tip number 3. Let go of the past. So this one's kind of huge and a little bit juicy, because I think we've all got hang-ups over different things, right? And this is something a lot of people would rather just sweep under the rug, not deal with it. So our past can be related to so many different things, and I think one of the best ways to let go of anything in the past that you feel is holding you back, or that is weighing on your mind, whether it's past grievances with people, or things that you regret, things that you wish you had done differently, just things that we beat ourselves up over. If there is one good way that I can really effectively let things go, I would say it would be using forgiveness as a tool. And forgiveness is so unbelievably powerful. And it's not just necessarily forgiving other people for things they may have done in the past, but also forgiving yourself. And I think that might actually be more important and more overlooked than the idea of forgiving other people. So let go of the past and use forgiveness as a tool to help with decluttering any kind of fears, hang-ups, anger, resentment, all of the stuff that we tend to carry around in our minds. Forgive and let go. Where am I? Number 4. Okay, so stop multitasking and limit the amount of info coming in. And this has to do with any kind of information in your life, but usually the one thing that comes to mind for me personally is overexposure to the internet and social media. And what I mean by that is basically I try to now set a limit on the amount of time I actually spend online or on social media. And that's not to say any of these things are bad, but you know, I think what ends up happening is we just get bombarded with information left, right, and center, and our brains are just cranking all this stuff out. And I think the one thing with social media is it can put us into the comparison game a lot too, and then our minds are working on, okay, this person has this, I don't have that, or you know, how come I don't look like this person? I need to buy these things so that I can be more like this, or whatever it is, right? There's an endless amount of things that we can be comparing ourselves against. And you know, Instagram, as much as I love it, and I do, and I think it's wonderful, so I'm not or even YouTube, those are the two main places I would say people get on, and our brains were so programmed to just go right into comparing. And by limiting that and using it mindfully, so when we limit something, then we kind of get a little bit pickier with, okay, I'm only gonna give myself an hour on here, and then I'm gonna go for a walk, and then I'm gonna clear my head, I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna have a bath, I'm gonna do whatever, spend some time with loved ones, you know what I mean? That space, giving yourself that space and getting off of there, it will give you obviously a lot more time, because I do think that we spend too much time online. We really do. I think most people would agree with that. And I think the problem is that it's just information overload, and it just gives our mind so much more to think about, and I don't think it's good. So that would be one really good way to basically just declutter your mind. So with that being said, I am on my 5th point, my 5th and last point, which is prioritize. So this comes back to using things like lists, being mindful when we're online or using social media and stuff like that, and just prioritize your time. So basically, the one thing that I would say with prioritizing things is that you have to accept that you cannot do it all, right? So I'm so guilty of this, and I'm one of those people that I try to, and I realize that the more I give myself permission to prioritize the essential things, figure out what's not essential, and then just get those things done, then you every day are absolutely getting things done. You're getting the essential things done, and you're prioritizing, and then it gives you more space more time to have space for yourself, to free up your mind of being overwhelmed with too many things to do. So prioritizing is so key, and I just think that, you know, that is such a huge one for decluttering our minds. And I do have a bonus tip here, and it is to also consider meditating. A lot of you maybe already do meditate, or you're familiar with how beneficial meditation is, and it's one of those things that we talk about where, you know, it's eating well, it's exercising, it's meditating, it's all these things, yoga even, and I'm somebody who does try to do yoga. I certainly don't do it as much as I should, and I certainly don't meditate as much as I should, but it is probably single-handedly one of the best things you can do to clear your mind. And it's a very, very, very underrated tool for getting grounded and for getting back in our bodies and clearing our heads. So if you're not familiar with how to meditate, I definitely encourage you to maybe look into it, because it is an incredible tool, and a little goes a long way. It's not like you have to be, you know, sitting in, you know, in the middle of the woods for hours on end, right? Chanting Om or anything like that. So it's often a very misunderstood thing, but it's a really, really, really powerful tool. I'm not going to get into, you know, meditation stuff right now, but I recommend it, and I think that it is, it's a good one for sure. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I definitely want to do more topics related to more intangible minimalism stuff, things with, you know, clearing the mind and getting rid of mental clutter, and just simplifying the way that we think. So I hope it was helpful for you. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this, and I will see you guys in the next one.